I was sitting in the family room, watching my evening programs, when my son-in-law barged in and shut off the TV without warning. Go to your room, old woman, he barked. This living room belongs to me now. My daughter stood behind him, eyes lowered, hands gripping grocery bags so tightly her knuckles were bone white. She didn't defend me, she didn't look at me, she didn't say a word, and I didn't argue. I simply stood, picked up my keys, and walked out of the house I had owned for more than 30 years. I didn't slam the door. I didn't raise my voice. I just left. The next morning, a man in a crisp suit rang their doorbell. But to understand why, I need to take you back to the moment everything shifted. That evening had started like any other. I was nestled into my deep burgundy armchair, my favorite one, the one I bought with the first Social Security check after my husband died 16 years ago. The warm smell of cinnamon coffee drifted in from the kitchen. That MYTV murmured softly. It was the calmest part of my day. Then the front door slammed. Hard. I didn't have to look. I knew who it was. Kyle. My son-in-law. A man who entered rooms like a storm and expected everyone else to brace for impact. My daughter, Mira, followed him with grocery bags, already apologizing for a crime she hadn't committed. Kyle marched straight in front of the TV, blocking my view. His smirk alone was louder than the slam of the door. He snatched the remote and shut off my program. Off to your room, Granny, he barked. The living room is mine. I'm watching the game. I waited, not for him, for Mira, for her to speak. To lift her head. To stand beside me, even for 1 second. But she didn't. Her eyes stayed on the floor. And in that tiny, heartbreaking moment, something inside me clicked into place. Not rage, not shame, just clarity. You see, I spent 35 years working in the county recorder's office. And in those decades I learned one unshakable truth. Words can lie, but paper never does. Kyle thought I was powerless. He thought I was just an old woman in a soft sweater who couldn't fight back. He had no idea who he was talking to. I stood quietly. Kyle didn't even look up. He already lay across my couch, cracking open a soda like he owned the place. I walked to my room, not to hide, but to retrieve the leather bank pouch, the spare keys, and the blue folder containing the title deed. Owner, Evelyn J. Marston. My name. Only my name. I stared at my reflection in the mirror. Gray hair, glasses on their chain, soft linen, clothes. People saw a harmless grandmother. But tonight, that disguise came off. I grabbed my purse, opened the front door, and walked out into the cold night. The air felt sharp and clean, like signing a fresh document. I called a cab. Where to? The driver asked. The Westmont Hotel. Downtown. And on the way there, I scrolled through my contacts and found a number I hadn't dialed in years. Samuel K. Alden, attorney at law. He picked up on the second ring. Evelyn, it's almost 9. What's happened? I said calmly. I've woken up, Sam, and I need legal help in the morning. What kind of help? He asked. My mental and property well-being. He inhaled sharply. I'm listening. I need to evict 2 tenants. There was a long pause. But, you live with your daughter and her husband. Exactly. I told him everything. The words, the disrespect, the years of freeloading, the silence from my daughter. He didn't question me. He knew me too well. He simply said, I'll prepare a 30-day notice to quit. I'll have my associate, Julian Cortez, serve it personally. Good, I replied. And put in writing that all utilities in my name will be suspended, and that back rent will be calculated. Understood. 8 a.m. tomorrow? 8 a.m. I hung up. At the hotel, the doorman treated me with more respect than Kyle had in 10 years. I entered the room, turned on the TV, set the volume exactly where I liked it. And for the first time in a long time, I ate dinner in peace. I slept deeply. The next morning, everything began. I met with Sam, reviewed every page, and signed with a steady hand. Julian left to deliver the paperwork. At 9:30, my phone rang. I answered calmly. Mama! Mira shrieked. There's a man here. Kyle is screaming. What did you do? I said. Ask your husband to lower his voice. Then read the notice that I am unavailable for yelling today. She shouted back. Mama, it says eviction. 30 days, 30 days, are you insane? For the first time in my life, Mira, I said, I am completely sane. I hung up. More messages poured in. I ignored them all. Instead, I made a simple list. Step 1, legal action. Step 2, shut off every utility in my name. Step 3, silence.no yelling.no explanations. Only facts. I bought myself new clothes. Clothes that felt like boundaries. A beige blazer, a crisp blouse, black trousers. Shoes with a heel that clicked confidently on the ground. I suspended the internet, the cable, the landline, the grocery card. I blocked Myra's supplementary card. Minutes later, a declined purchase popped up. $89, premium butcher shop. Kyle was probably holding a ribeye at the counter. I smiled into my coffee. Later that afternoon, the hotel front desk called. Your daughter is here. She wants to see you. I met her in the lobby. She looked small, deflated, eyes red. She whispered, Mama, please. Kyle is furious. The utilities are off. The card didn't work. I was humiliated. Let's fix this. I said calmly, sit. This is a hotel lobby. We speak quietly. She sat, hands shaking. I looked her in the eyes and said, the house is mine, and you have 30 days. You're humiliating us, she whispered. No, I said softly. I am returning responsibility to the correct owners. She panicked. Kyle says he'll divorce me. Says if we don't have your house, he doesn't want me. I answered gently. Then you never had a marriage. You had captivity. She broke. Finally. The next morning, we all met in the lawyer's office. Kyle burst in first, angry, red-faced, loud. Mira followed, silent and broken. You can't do this. Kyle shouted. We've lived there for years. We have rights. Yes, I replied calmly. The right to leave. He tried to argue adverse possession. I dismantled every point. Sam confirmed it all. Then I slid a folder across the table. These are the savings you claim to have. Default notices. Zeroed out accounts. Debt. Margin calls. Financial ruin. Mira read every page. Her face changed with every line. There's nothing, she whispered. No, I said. Not even honesty. And that was the moment she finally left him. 30 days later, Julian called. They're gone. Keys turned in. Inventory completed. I thanked him and finished my tea at the spa. That afternoon, I returned to my home. The quiet felt sacred. I washed every shelf, opened every window, scrubbed every corner where his presence had festered like mold. By evening, the house breathed again, fresh and clean. A gentle knock came at the door. Mira. She looked peaceful for the first time in years. I rented a small studio, she said softly. I filed for divorce. I'm working full-time now. I nodded. Good. Thank you, Mama, she whispered. When you stopped feeding the lie, I finally saw the truth. You're welcome here, I told her. As a guest. As my daughter. But not as a tenant. She smiled through her tears. I understand. A week later, I invited 3 of my neighbors over. Women like me. Women who had been pressured, pushed, or guilted into giving away the homes they earned. Over coffee and warm peach cobbler, one of them said, My son wants me to sign my house over to him. I looked her straight in the eyes and said, No, your home is yours. If you want to leave something to him, write a will. But don't sign away your dignity before you're gone. I handed her a slip of paper with one sentence. I am not ready to transfer ownership. I may think about it, but I am not signing anything. The house smelled like peach paint and new beginnings. Not a performance. Just order.